What's up, everybody? There is a lot going on. Yes, it is cold in Philadelphia. Currently 26 with a 16-degree wind chill factor. And yeah, I'm trying to stay warm. I do not like this weather. I figure I'd give y'all a little taste of what's happening in Philly. Hopefully, when these Rams roll in here on Sunday, old man winter will give them a little something to greet them coming in. Anyhow, man, listen. I am not even going to, get into the normal exhortations that I go through about the channel and everything that we got going on. I'm sure you guys who follow me on social media have heard it. You heard my post-game rant. You heard my rant on WIP this week. And I'm just going to pick up where I left off because I'm actually a little peeved at some of the crap I've been hearing all week, I think we live our lives in such a way sometimes that we're so fearful and just, waiting for something bad to happen instead of relishing the moment of something good that can possibly happen or the good that's right there before us. It's so hard to enjoy life that way, in my opinion. And trust me, when I say this, I say it from a position of experience because I've been there and done it. I lived that as a football player. I've lived that, as a retired football player, as a businessman, life circumstances. Listen, your Philadelphia Eagles went 14-3 on the season. And all season long, all we did was bitched and complained and moaned and groaned about the run game, about the pass game, about Jalen's inability to throw the ball. Oh, we're not. So the question I would ask you, and you guys can throw it in the chat, make your comments. I may be even so bold as to be so bold as to bring some of your questions on and address them right here, okay? We caught ourselves doing it at the end of the year. Oh, we can't play the players. We need to rest them for the last game. What if they get hurt? People who live their lives in what-if mode, they don't accomplish a damn thing. It takes boldness. It takes risks in order for you to succeed in this life, in this world. And it takes this air of confidence that you have to have about yourself and what you've already accomplished and what you're about to accomplish in order to get the job done. Because trust me when I say this. And I want you guys to think about this for a second, because what I want you to do is delve into your world of successes and missteps, successes and failures, okay? Think about the one thing in your life that you accomplished that you're most proud of. And then what I want you to do is I want you to reflect on your mindset during that time and tell me what your mindset was. Did you believe that this goal was attainable? Did you believe that success was imminent? Or did you go into it with this air of doubt that paralyzed you and kept you from moving forward? See, and I hate to take it back here, but I've got to make the reference so that you guys can understand where I'm coming from and why my mindset is the way that it is. I never stepped on the field with the mindset that somebody was better than me. I never stepped on the field with the mindset that we would lose. Now, I could only control so much of that from my perspective and my position, but that was never an option. It was never an option for it to enter my mind that something was impossible, that I couldn't do it, that, I might get hurt. This might happen. That's nonsense. It's called stinking thinking, and it's the one thing that precludes people from having success in anything that they do, because they're waiting for the shoe to fall. They're waiting for the obstacle to fall in their way so that they can say, oh, I knew that was going to happen. No, you can't be successful that way. Now, your Philadelphia Eagles won 14 games this year. They just won round one of the playoffs, the wild card game. And instead of us relishing in the fact that we got the Rams coming to town, the team that we beat in week 12, instead of us relishing the fact that we ran for 314 yards on their ass, and Saquon had 255 yards and 2 runs, touchdown runs of 70 yards plus, we're talking about the damn quarterback. We're talking about the quarterback and the fact that in this game, Jalen Hurts went 13 for 21 for 131 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, maybe a couple of foolish sacks that he probably didn't have to take. He didn't turn the ball over, okay? And he had a rating of 111. Yet all we want to talk about is what might or might not be enough. Why don't we deal with the issue when we get there? Okay? Why can't we relish the fact that we are 2 games away from Super Bowl 59 instead of talking about all that could go wrong and all that may go wrong? Show me a time this season, okay? Realistically, you can only say that the Eagles got beaten badly. I mean, badly. Once this season. Once they couldn't get it together. Once they couldn't figure it out in game, okay? Once they got embarrassed. That was against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in week 4. Since that time, okay, they ran off what? 12 games in a row before they lost another one? I don't understand this. I'm trying to find the right word. I don't understand this. We are in position. This football team is in position. It's in the best position that it's been in the last 2 years. This team is in position for a Super Bowl run. And all that everybody wants to talk about is that, oh, Jalen Hurts might be the reason why this team doesn't advance to the Super Bowl. What kind of small thinking is that? What kind of way is that to go about your business? If you're an Eagles fan, that's really how you think? That's really how you feel? Instead of grasping the fact that this football team is sitting on the precipice of going to the NFC Championship, either in Detroit next week, okay, or at home against the Commanders. But all we want to talk about is the quarterback is the weak link. All the quarterback is the weak link. Well, let me tell you something. Let me tell you about this quarterback. Every time this year, where this team has needed him to show up and show out, he has shown up and shown out. Now, it might not be to the numbers that, that the gurus and everybody in this pass-happy, NFL thinks that those numbers should be. But let me ask you a question. Would you rather have Justin Herbert and his 4 interceptions last week? Would you like to have Jordan Love and his 3 interceptions last week? Or would you love to have Russell Wilson and his garbage time numbers last week and his pedestrian play last week? Oh, how would you like to have Sam Darnold, who pretty much puked on his shoes over the last 2 weeks and threw away probably $40 to $50 million in contract money? That's what you want? You'd rather have a quarterback that throws for 300 yards and you lose the damn game? Every single year is different. This year has been no different. Last year, the year before, Jalen Hurts' numbers were pretty damn good. He was within 2 games of winning the MVP 2 years ago. And all we want to talk about is the fact that he's the weak link. When all he's shown us, ever since he's been here, that he's a winner, that he knows how to win, that he knows how to make it happen when it matters the most. Isn't that what's most important for your quarterback? Are we so drunk on the numbers and all that kind of stuff that we can't see the reality of that? The Eagles coaching staff in week 5 during the bye week made a decision on the recommendation of the offensive line that we got Superman behind us and we got one of the biggest, one of the best offensive lines in the National Football League. We need to start leaning on that, okay? And it became apparent really quick that Saquon was not only special, but he was a transcendent piece to this offense. Now, has the numbers passing wise been way down? Absolutely. Absolutely. But then again, I'll ask you, what's more important? Is it more important to win the football game or for the quarterback to put up these gaudy numbers? Because no matter what the circumstances were, whether the Eagles ran somebody out of the stadium or whether they threw a pass and got the lead when they needed to and then the defense stood up, no matter what the circumstances were, they found a way to win 14 out of 17 games, 15 including last week's playoff game. So what are we bitching and complaining about? What are we moaning about? Okay? Oh, he may be. Hell, you might walk outside and get blown away by an 80-mile-an-hour wind tonight. Anything may happen. But until somebody beats these Eagles in the playoffs, and until the lack of passing and the lack of passing efficiency because of Jalen is the reason why, then guess what? We need to shut the hell up and enjoy this ride. That's what I'm going to do, and that's what I implore you to do. It ain't even worth it. We can talk about what could happen, what might happen if and buts was candy and nuts, we all have a Merry Christmas. If grandma had cojones, she'd be grandpa. I can come up with a whole bunch of different ifs. But that's why they play the damn game every Sunday. They play the game so the facts of the football game will play themselves out and the winner will show himself the victor. I made a statement on WIP this week, and a lot of people took it personal, that sometimes the Philadelphia fans can be a little ungrateful. I'm sorry if that rubs some people the wrong way. But I can remember the time where the Eagles organization, even before I got here, was awful. My first couple of years, we were awful. There was a dead time, in between when Andy Reid came to the team and when I left, where the team was awful. There's a lot of lean years that I can think back upon and remember as far as this organization is concerned, where we didn't have the success that we're now having. And we can't even get out our own damn way long enough to enjoy where we are right now. Because nothing is forever. Howie's done a great job with this salary cap. But you got to think at some point in time the salary cap is going to become an issue, and we're going to have to take a step back. Like, you can't pay your right tackle, your left guard, your wide receiver 1, your wide receiver 2, your running back. You're about to pay, your middle linebacker this year halfway decent money. At some point in time, the salary cap has got to catch up with us. And we're going to have to take a step back for a few years in order to take 2 steps forward. So why aren't we enjoying where we are and relishing in where we are, especially after last year? 10-1, monumental collapse. And here we are after week 1 of the playoffs. We won the game and we're on to the divisional round to play against a team that we've already demolished once. And all the commentary is, oh, the quarterback may be a problem. The quarterback may hold us back from actually winning. Stop it, man. Stop it. Why can't we think positive about what we want to have happen instead of putting all these negative vibes in the air about what potentially could happen? Why aren't we thinking about potentially, hey, the Eagles might win Super Bowl 59? Why aren't we talking like that instead of the converse? It makes no sense to me. And then I get all these other people, oh, well, the defense is carrying. Well, guess what? That's why it's called a team. The defense didn't do a damn thing last year. Couldn't help or rescue the offense. Part of the reason why they fell apart in the second half last year, beyond the offensive incompetency to be able to solve the zero blitz, okay? That's a fact. Shouldn't you have a good defense and a good special teams? Guess what? You got 3 phases to the game of football. 3 phases. You want to know why you got 3? Because invariably in a game, one phase is always going to have some problems. So you got the other two phases to carry you until the other phase can kind of figure it out and get themselves together. Teams that suck on special teams and offense or defense, they don't have a shot. Because if you're bad in two phases, one phase is not enough to carry you. You got to be good in at least two phases to take up for the one phase that may be lacking at any point in time. The defense is going to have a bad game here or there. The offense is going to have a bad game here or there. We watched, the special teams have a bad day a couple of weeks ago against the Commanders, and it hurt us. So yes, all of these things are positive things. Saquon's running wild. Jalen's not spectacular, but he's good a damn enough. Okay? The defense is playing out of its mind. The special teams is holding its own. That's a team, guys. That's what you want. That kind of team is hard to beat. They're hard to beat. And they're battle tested. Even though they got a bunch of these young guys, you got enough older guys, enough veterans in that locker room that remember that sting of what it felt like when they lost, the Super Bowl 2 years ago. That remember what it's like to drop 6 or 7 of the last 7 or 8 games last year. They're not going to allow that to happen again. And you got a quarterback who's done nothing but win. We can talk about Nick Sirianni being 50 and 19. Well, guess what? Put some respect on Jalen Hurts' name, because guess who the quarterback has been through the entire time that Nick Sirianni was 50 and 19? Jalen Hurts. Yeah, I'm hot because, we just stir up nonsense sometimes. And we can be so ungrateful when good things are happening. At least we got something to hold on to, something to revel in when things go sideways and things go bad for a few years. But we can't even do that, because all we want to think about is what could go wrong instead of what could go right. Aleko, you got anything interesting over there? Because I'm pretty sure somebody's talking crap in the chat, and I want to address their ass right here, right now. So throw it up there. And I'm not saying that you guys have to agree with me. Understand. I got in it with Chuck from Mount Airy on air on Monday morning, okay? I don't dislike Chuck. And I don't say anything to disrespect anybody. But I'm not going to let somebody disrespect me on the air, on social media, or anywhere else. But what I can do is I can agree to disagree at some point. I can vehemently make my point. And I understand why people are so convicted in what they say, because when you're in the business that I am, you're an analyst, you're on TV, you're on radio, you better speak with conviction or people won't tune in. What I say, I believe. What I say, I experience. And I will stand by it. And when I'm wrong, I'm man enough to say, hey, you know what? I got it wrong. If Jalen Hurts goes out Sunday and he craps the bed, guess what? I'm going to go on air Monday morning and say, hey, I got it wrong. I'm man enough to do that. But until I see him do that, where he's the reason why we get bounced out of the playoffs, okay? Or he's the reason why we lose a game, I'm steadfast in my opinion about this football team, because they are a football team. Think about it. The defense played well. But if the defense allows them to get 23 points, guess what? We lose the game. What you're not understanding is they had 10 points. If the offense, even though the special team set up the first touchdown, if the offense does not score points, then we don't win football games. Jalen Hurts threw two of those touchdowns that gave us 12 points. Come on, people. Let's call it really what it is. Let's stop subscribing to the nonsense, all the clickbait and all the chatter and all the nonsense that goes on. I'm just not here for it. I'm here to see this team win. Am I critical? Yes. Am I opinionated? Yes. Do I love my Eagles team? You damn right. I want them to win. And I'm going to hold positivity for them so that they can win. Because listen, I won a Super Bowl before in Denver. But trust me, when the Eagles won the Super Bowl in 2017, it was just as proud of a day for me going up Broad Street, going up JFK, and going to that art museum in the freezing cold and celebrating with the city, the organization, and the team as it was for those players. So I want to see them succeed. My job as an analyst may be to be a little critical at sometimes, and some people like it, some people don't. I am for some people, and for some people, I'm just not for them at all. I don't give a damn. I don't care. That's not why I'm here. You got anything, Aleko?
It's all love in the chat right now. Everybody's saying facts. I agree with you. Thank you, Seth.
I don't know, man. I just, I see a lot of people that's agreeing with me, and listen, I love you guys. Don't get me wrong. I don't take any solace with somebody agreeing with me. I do to a certain extent, but at the other end of the spectrum, it's like, hey, if it's the truth, it's the truth. You guys heard me say it many times. My mom she taught me something that I live by. She said, son, whatever you do it in truth. Because the truth doesn't need to be defended. The truth is like a lion. You set it free, it'll defend itself. But if you tell a lie, you got to tell 10 different lies till Sunday to rectify the first lie. So if I say something, I'm saying it in my truth. And if I get it wrong, like I said, I'm man enough to go back and retract it and say I got it wrong. And I'm man enough to say it in a public forum the same way that I speak my truth. When I get it wrong and I got to retract it, I come to the public forum and I say it right here so you guys can hear exactly what I got to say and watch me eat crow. And I'm okay with that. That comes with the territory, comes with the job. I'm good with that. It's funny because, today I had, Dick Vermeil on my TV show. We take the TV show today. It's always interesting and always good to have, Coach on with me because I asked him the pertinent questions. I said, Coach, give me your opinion. And, I get it. He's a coach. He's a public figure. There's certain things that he's just not going to say that I might say. But, sometimes when you don't have anything positive to say, you just don't say anything. I'm like, Coach, what do you think about Jalen? He said, I think Jalen played efficiently. He did what he needed to do to win the football game. And when you're trying to win the Super Bowl, you're trying to get there. That's all you need to do is do what you got to do to win the football game. Because there's a lot of teams. When the playoffs started last week, there were 16 teams sitting home, okay, watching everybody else play. That's a miserable feeling. I've been there more times than I, would love to admit, okay? Now we're pared down. We got 8 teams left, all right? So that means there's 26 teams sitting somewhere wishing that they were where these last 8 teams were. This where the Philadelphia Eagles are right now. And we bitching and complaining. We bitching and complaining about the quarterback might be the weak link. Help me make it make sense, because it makes absolutely none to me whatsoever. Just so you know, Ron Jaworski is going to join me in the second half hour of the show. And I wanted to bring another quarterback on because I want Jaws to speak to it. And I know Jaws has some reservations about Jalen like many others. I don't expect for Jaws to get on here and agree with me wholeheartedly. He may say the same thing. Hey, Jalen's got to play better. I'm not saying that Jalen doesn't have to play better, that he doesn't have to be more efficient. But sometimes it ain't always on the player. Like some of these pass concepts, that you see. Darren Orlovsky does a great job on ESPN breaking it down. I know you guys probably seen it on Twitter today. I reposted what he put down. He was like, there's a lot of times when guys just wasn't open. The Green Bay Packers looked like they knew all the routes that the Eagles were running. And in that downtime, Jalen starts off 6 for 6, 39 yards and a touchdown, okay? Then he misses the next seven throws in the half. But what people don't talk about, he went 8 for 9 for 90 yards in the second, 92 yards to be specific, in the second half, and a touchdown. But nobody wants to talk about that. A touchdown drive that was critical. At a critical point in the game, he took the team 5 plays, 58 yards, 24-yard check out of 0 blitz that had eaten him up on 3 different occasions to Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert does the rest. Touchdown. Now, the game is over. Game, set, and match is over right there. But all we want to talk about is what he didn't do in between that 6 for 6 and where he went 8 for 9. Don't the other team get paid? Don't the other team got athletes on their team? Don't the other team have defensive and offensive coordinators? We act like sometimes Jalen just lines up in skeleton and he got players running all over the place. The other thing is you get these clowns on social media, they'll take a snapshot of Jalen standing in the pocket. And they're like, oh, this guy over here is open and that guy over there is open. Do you know where the progression starts? Does Jalen's progression start from right to left or left to right? Then I stretch the picture and I look at it and Jalen's eyes are over here, which means that he's starting right to left. So he can have 3 guys wide open over here. And if the protection breaks down, he will never get back to the wide open guy on the left side. Gurus who talk about the game and don't know what the hell they're talking about, don't know what the hell they're looking at. They're going to pull some pictures up, some stills, and think that that's all in there, that everything that you need to know is right in there. Doesn't work that way. Football is a much more complicated game. Much more complicated game. All right, I'm going to dip out right here because I want Jaws to come in and get the full 30 minutes. So I'm going to take my first break right here. And when we come back, I'm going to pull Jaws in. And, hey, whatever the conversation is, it is. But I want him to speak to what he's seeing as a guy who stood in Jalen's position before, okay, and bring some knowledge and some wisdom to you guys and some levity and hopefully some surety, that you feel good and you feel confident about where this football team is and the possibility of them winning a Super Bowl this year, because that's where we are. It's not negative. It's not a bad thing. We're not going to look at this thing from the standpoint that it could crash and burn. We're going to look at it from the standpoint of positivity. And if it doesn't work out, hey, we just chalk it up as, hey, it was just not our year. It wasn't our time. Maybe there's something we need to learn. We'll come back next year, and hopefully the circumstances will be different. But I'm not going there until somebody proves to us that there's somebody else out there better, good enough to beat us and knock us off our mark. I'll be back in a sec.
It's happening again. Those missed tackles are starting to stack up. Your friends pleading with players who can't hear them, sweating it out week after week. But not you. Why? Because whether they score or not, there's always another way to win on the BetParx app. New casino users score up to $1,000 bonus back in their first 24 hours.
On game day, it's the Eagles' job to protect this house.
But in here, this is our house.
So we drank our pickle juice, then wrote the playbook on injury law.
And created a winning culture that knows
Hungry dogs run faster. And we always bring the pressure. Because that's the standard. And we don't win until you win.
Oh.
Oof. Stuck paying for that old phone? Don't be. At Verizon, we'll pay off your phone. And you'll get iPhone 16 with Apple Intelligence on us. Now with Genmoji. That's a value of up to $1,600. Only on Verizon.
Since 1893, Weber Display and Packaging has been Pennsylvania's leading manufacturer of corrugated packaging and displays. We're family owned with 4 Philadelphia locations, 2 converting facilities, a warehouse, and a fulfillment center. Designed through delivery, we exceed customer needs. Weber Display and Packaging. Our core values drive everything we do. Come join our team.
At Revolution X, we know that fortunes are made in times of uncertainty. Are you selling your investment real estate? Are you interested in deferring your tax with a 1031 exchange? At RevX, we're experts in 1031 exchange planning and the use of passive real estate options using DSTs. Not in the midst of an exchange and want to invest in real estate but don't know where to start? Revolution X has institutional grade real estate options for any size investor right now. Set up a consultation at RevXWealth.com. RevX, defer the tax, maximize the gain.
Welcome back, everybody. Before I bring Jaws in, I know I've been on a 30-minute rant, but I want to, I want to talk about Nakobe Dean. Another one of these players that I'm talking about, in the last segment. I felt, after 3 or 4 games this year, I looked at Nakobe Dean. I really did not think that he was developing into an NFL linebacker. I've since then changed my stance. I think it's a phenomenal job with Vic Fangio. And what his linebacker coach has done with him this year, just night and day difference. And I'm kind of distraught for him because the kid was playing so well. It's a shame that he tore his patella tendon is going to be done for the rest of the playoffs and the rest of the season. So I wanted to make sure, that I send well wishes to him, speedy recovery. Hope he gets back, next season. He's full strength, ready to go and pick up where he left off. All right. Now, we're going to switch gears. I'm going to bring Jaws in and, just chop up not only the quarterback play, but also, kind of break down and preview this Rams team and how different they look now than when the Eagles played them a few weeks back. All right. Jaws, what's happening, my man?
How are you, Seth? Good to see you, brother.
I'm doing good, my friend.
I know you. I saw you interrupted my reading. I was getting caught up.
Oh, geez. Are you one of those? Are you one of those Amazon? You just made that author a little bit richer this week, along with AJ's push.
After the game, my wife was watching the game, and she saw him with the book. She ordered the book after the game on Sunday. I had it on Monday. My wife's always thinking, keep me motivated.
Yeah, I'm thinking I may have to go and order one as well. Charles, listen, man, there's a lot going on around, the conversation of Jalen Hurts and the inefficiencies in the passing game. But, I don't know where you stand. I just feel like this football team is on the precipice of something special. And I think we've kind of lost sight of that, in the whole situation of just looking at the quarterback and evaluating what the quarterback, can or can't be. He's been a playmaker. He's been a winner for a long time. And I get the sense that, just like in the Steelers game, when he's pressed into duty and he needs to get it done, he'll step up and he'll make the plays and get it done. Your thoughts?
Well, the quarterback's evaluated by one thing, winning. He's winning. 47-20 as a starter in this league, Seth. How many guys can say that? Very, very few. He knows how to win. I was actually really impressed with the game on Sunday because I thought he managed the game the way it should have been managed against a team that you were better than, an opponent you should beat. And, maybe there were some opportunities, some tight throws and stick throws that he could have tried to force in there. But who knows? You may get a tip ball. You may get an interception. A lot of negative things could happen. I think he now understands the whole structure of a football team. Offense, defense, special teams. He does not have to make every play. And as I've watched his team, and I've watched every snap he's played, every ball he's thrown, I've seen everything he's done, good and bad, and it's been a high percentage of good. And those people that, I don't know, want 300 yards games every week, it's just not going to happen. That's not today's NFL. And why would you want your quarterback in this offense to throw for 300 yards every game when you got number 26 in the backfield, the best offensive line in football, the best offensive line in football, and they will have to wear the hat this week. So you want your quarterback to drop back 40 times? Why? Why when you can run the football, control the clock, and rest the defense? The defense is number one in the league. Not because they're that great. By the way, they are very good. But they don't look at the number of snaps they're playing. Look at the time of possession. The offense has been controlling that. So I think Jalen now understands what it takes to be a field general, a guy that controls the offense and controls the entire game with that offense. He's set up by the tempo of the defense, by the tempo of the offense. So I actually love the way he's playing. The numbers aren't gaudy. Maybe they're a little bit uneven at times, but I think he's playing terrific football. And 47-20 is the number one stat to me.
You know, I know you've watched all the film. I reposted a piece put up by Dan Ozlowski. You know, it was probably about 6-7 plays where he talked about the wide receivers not being open in some instances and some circumstances. And the game is hard to watch for the average fan because they look at the game and they really can't see all 22. They can't really get the vision that the quarterback is seeing. They also don't understand that, you know, progressions either start from left to right or right to left. So if you're in a progression, you're going right to left, sometimes you may not get back to the left side and there is somebody wide open. But all people want to talk about is, oh, that guy over there was open. You know, talk about
Seth,
that because
I'll interrupt you 1 second. I've had receivers. I was fortunate enough to play with a lot of good receivers through my 17-year career. There's only one type of receiver that used to bother me. When you throw the ball up to the right sideline, you have a receiver on the left side, the ball be thrown to the right sideline, the whole defense will run over there, and that wide receiver start going, hey, I was open. And all the fans start saying, hey, he was open. Why don't you throw it to him? So unless you look at the all 22, like you said, you have people that have no idea what the play design was, what the play called, who you're attacking. At the end of the day, the defense dictates where the football should go. Not some wide receiver going, hey, I'm open.
You know, the other thing that impressed me, you know, the Packers, especially in the red zone, after they scored the first touchdown off the opening kickoff fumble, the next time that the Eagles got down into the red zone, the Packers came at Jalen with 3-0 blitzes in a row, and they didn't seem to have an answer for it. Later in the game, when they got him in that situation, they were close to the red zone. I think they were on the 24-yard line. That pass that Dallas got it, he checked out of it, got it out quick. AJ made a fantastic block, and Dallas just muscled his way to the end zone. Now, to me, that was huge, Charles, because for the last 2 years, darn near, the Eagles have really struggled in zero blitz and trying to figure out how to beat it because they don't go hot, they don't go side adjustments. They just pretty much say, hey, Jalen, you know, one guy's going to come running free. We need you to make him. We need you to make him miss, and we want to push the ball downfield. That's our opportunity to create an explosive play. But what I liked was he checked it at the line and got in the right situation, you know, which tells me he's learned something, he's aware, or maybe he, you know, there was a change made on the sideline to adjust to that. But the fact that they're adjusting to it now where they had no answer for it last year is a massive improvement.
Yeah, well, the Packers coming into the game, and historically this year they have not been a high blitzing team. So they may have caught the Eagles off guard a little bit. But you know at this point in the season, they're prepared for every blitz. You start working, you know, site adjustments, hot principles, day one of training camp. That's just the nature of the business. Now, if there's one thing historically, I would probably say Jalen and the offensive coordinator now, it's Kellen Moore now, but in the past, it's been other people. So, and basically Nick, it was his offense for all of the first 3 years. But you know, I didn't think they did a really good job historically against an overload. In other words, you got 3 to block, they bring 4. You got 4 to block, they bring 5. So you're always going to have one man that is going to basically be unprotected and not picked up. So the ball has to come out hot. Get the ball, you read the guy that's not going to be blocked. It goes out hot to that side. They're pretty basic built-in, you know, blitz beaters in your offensive scheme. I think they've done a better job of it this year, and I think Jalen's done a better job of it this year. So yes, I think there's been improvement in getting their hot principles more efficient this season than in the past.
I'm sure you've seen this, but I want to pull it up, you know, just for a point of reference, because it showed up on my feed today, and I posted it. So here's what the numbers said. Okay, Jalen Hurts versus the blitz against the Packers. He was 3 for 5 for 62 yards, a touchdown, 0 interceptions, 143 rating in the first half. Okay. Jalen Hurts in the second half, he was 7 for 8, 92 yards, 1 touchdown, 154 rating. You know, that's big when you talk about a quarterback's ability to handle. Just as pedestrian as the numbers were, you know, I've been ranting for the last, 35 minutes talking about the fact that, when Jalen needs to make a play, he makes a play. But all we want to seem to talk about is his inefficiencies.
I'll digress a second. I'll go back to last season, the end of last season, where he was struggling. You got to tell you, a rough game against Tampa Bay in the playoff game. They, for some reason, I'm glad we're not playing Tampa Bay. Because Todd Bowles always is very creative. It comes up with some scheme that makes it tough on Jalen. He seemed to own him. The first 4 games this season, I thought he was throwing interceptions. In fact, he had an 8-game streak where he threw interceptions. I was concerned. The bye week came around and things changed. They came out and all of a sudden they became a running team. I think the coaching staff realized, you know what, we don't need to be a throw ball team. Our defense is young, it's aggressive, it's good. It's going to be really good as we go down the stretch. You know, we got a great running back in Saquon Barkley. Now they thought they had a great running back when they got Saquon. They didn't realize how great he was going to be. So now they realize after 4 games, I think they changed their mindset. We don't have to become reliant on Jalen Hurts and throwing the ball 40 times and A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert. What we could do is run behind the best offensive line in football. These guys move everybody. I don't care who they play against. They'll move the Rams on Sunday. The Rams will make some plays because they're good, but they'll move the football on them. So they took the pressure off Jalen. They didn't want him to throw the ball 40 times a game and put the ball in harm's way with some passes that aren't on target. So I think they made the right choice to be more balanced on offense. In fact, from a play call percentage, no one calls more run plays than the Philadelphia Eagles. So I think they have found a real good water level for Jalen, for Saquon Barkley, for the wide receivers, and the offensive line. I think the offensive line has really been the catalyst for the Eagles' success this year. So every adjustment they made after the bye week seems to have worked.
Charles, but you know what? There are the pundits, the gurus, the prognosticators that say the reason why they had to do that is because of Jalen's inefficiencies, that he can't throw over the middle, that he can't process, route combinations. Like, I understand, cover 2 beaters, cover 3 beaters, cover 4 beaters, cover 6 beaters. I understand that. When you look at this offense, I don't have a whole lot of that, and the gurus will break down the film and say they don't do that because Jalen Hurts, he can't operate like that. He's not that kind of a quarterback. He can't throw the ball with rhythm and timing. But you see him throwing timing routes on slants to A.J. Brown. You see him throw 15-yard comebacks to Devontae Smith. You see Dallas Goedert, on a seam route every once in a while. I don't understand where they come up with this, with some of this stuff, Jaws. And I mean, I'm here for it. I'm here to dispute it because I think it's a whole bunch of BS.
And you do a great job handling it as well, because you address some of the morons that think they're Vince Lombardi when it comes to understanding the game, and you know it and I know it. And we can watch a game as a casual fan. But I really hate to make judgment even after a game. We do a post game show about what really happened. So I can get on Monday. I got my large screen TV over here, popping in NFL films, got me all set up. I start watching all 22, and I'll say, man, that was totally different than what I saw watching the game. Or a replay, until you get that clicker out and go back and forth and back and forth. You try to figure out what the progression is, what the defense is doing, where the football should go. You never walk out and say, I'm going to throw the ball to A.J. Brown, because that's not the way it is. The defense dictates where you go with the football. If you're a walkout linebacker, which you were, you walk out around A.J. Brown with the corner over the top, the safety inside. I'm not even looking on your side. The play could have been called to get the ball due. I'm going away from them. The defense always dictates where you go with the football.
It's interesting, Jaws, because, a lot of people talk about with all the talent that Jalen has, why isn't he more prolific? And I agree with you.
He is prolific. 27 and 47 and 20. That's prolific. You and I we would argue with the fans all day. We could have a world championship team right in our midst right now, and we're going to talk about the quarterback who's 47 and 20. Are you got to be kidding me? I mean, how many teams would love to have Jalen Hurts as their quarterback? Maybe the numbers aren't mind-boggling. Joe Burrow, guys that are not watching playoffs they're watching playoffs on TV. Yeah, those are great numbers, but they're not winning numbers. Jalen, no. In fact, Nick always starts out his press conference. Jalen is a winner. That's all you have to do. To me, that's the quarterback's role. The field general. You win the battle, and that's what he's been doing. Now, every quarterback makes mistakes. Anyone watch that San Diego game or the Chargers game the other day? 4 picks. Well, that guy's an all-world player, but you have those games. You don't see Hurts having those games where he's throwing 4 picks or 3 picks. I think he's a very accurate passer. I can nitpick like a lot of people do. Well, he snapped to release a little bit slow. You can find something wrong with everybody. Everybody has a flaw. No one's perfect, and defense sometimes can embarrass you.
Well, Jaws, I live on the positive side of things. I'm so excited for this team and the opportunity that they have to go to and potentially win Super Bowl 59. And I just choose to look at things from a much more positive perspective. At the end of the day, it's all about winning the game. You know, I got into it with Joe DeCamera on Monday. Yep. I said, dude, you know, it's about advancing to the next round. It's, you know, well, you know, was he good? I'm like, he was good enough. You know, the defense was good enough. The special teams was good enough.
Yep.
Jalen was good enough. The offensive line, when you win a game, that means that you were good enough on that day, because each game is going to take on a whole different tenor. Now, next week is a whole nother ball of wax. This Rams defense and this Rams offense is not the same team that they played, you know, a few weeks back. So I hope that they get in their mind, Jaws, that they're not facing the same team.
No, it's a totally different team. And by the way, that defense is playing phenomenal football right now. Anyone that watched the game last night, you know, saw what they can do from a defensive perspective. And while they went to that. Here's what we move on to the game. The Eagles have to be very careful to stay out of third and long. That's when that defense of the Rams is at their best. They come out with that cheetah defense. They got 5 fast guys to hand out the line of scrimmage. It reminded me of what Steve Spagnuolo did with the New York Giants and their NASCAR defense when they won the Super Bowl against the New England Patriots. It was that speed, quickness, young guys. And their whole defensive roster was all young guys, first, second, third round draft choices. And they are now that game, I think, was November 12th when we played them. And we gutted them. Our offensive line just gutted them. It's a different team right now. They'll take what were the mistakes they made on that tape, and they'll correct them. So I don't think we'll run for 314 yards in this game. I don't think Saquon will run for 255 because that Rams defense is playing so much better now, particularly their defensive line.
So let's break it down. Let's start with their defense and how would you attack them if you were game planning this game?
I would do it. I'd go to the edges. I think what our line does is get great movement on the edges. I mean, Lane and Marlotta are playing fantastic. But Saquon also has a great lateral ability to make cuts. He's not just that one cut downhill guy. And I remember a discussion I had with Adrian Peterson when I was doing Monday Night Football when we get a Viking game. He always talked about lateral agility. There are some guys, hey, they're good at running downhill, but the real great backs can run downhill, cut left, and then cut right. And it's that lateral agility that makes running back so special. And that's what Saquon Barkley has, the lateral agility, not just straight down running. So when he gets to the edge, in fact, I think I don't have the numbers with me right now, but I have them somewhere on my desk here. He had 255 yards rushing. I think something like 171 were before contact. That's before anyone touched him. It was some ridiculous number because the offensive line was creating separation. The long touchdown run he had, he didn't even get touched. I think it was 65 or 68 yards. But, I mean, so when you got that kind of guy, you utilize him. And that offensive line, when you got a line like that, you utilize them. When you got tight ends that block like the Eagles have, you utilize them. Of course, the record speaks for itself.
So you know that in a game of this magnitude, a game of this importance, a game like this and its finality, that the Rams are going to load the box. You know, their number one thing is they're not going to want to let Saquon get off. So you're going to probably see a lot of, you know, too high safety early in the play clock with a guy, you know, rolling down either weak or strong. And, you know, the game plan is going to be, hey, we want Jalen Hurts to beat us with his arm. What's your plan if that's the case? What kind of routes are you devising to put Jalen in the best position against a full box and a single high safety to take advantage of?
If a team's decided they're going to load the box, they're going to come after the quarterback and try to disrupt your pass game with the pass rush, it's an easy. For me, it's easy. I'm going to go 8-man protection on 2 receiver routes. Plain and simple. That's all I'm going to do. Once I figure out that they're trying to do that, I'm going to go max pro, run 2 receiver routes, make sure my quarterback gets, you know, 2.9 to 3.1 seconds to throw the football, so that he doesn't have to throw hot, doesn't have to read anything. You know, you're going to pick a side and let it fly. Really simple. We're going to block at the right side, throw the left side. We're going to block the left side, throw the right side. That's the simplest way to beat the blitz. If you can anticipate it coming, you go maximum protection.
I mean, let's say that
You know the Seth, I don't know, you know better than anybody. You played for Buddy. Buddy used to drive me crazy. I mean, he said, we'll hit the damn quarterback. He won't be able to get rid of it. All of a sudden, offenses divide maximum protections. Buddy was going to blitz the quarterback. He said, you can't complete passes laying on your back. That's what Buddy always felt. But I think the league always catches up to the new schemes and new guys that are kind of the ones that are always designers of plays.
Yeah, but they're also going to play that game where, they get up and they sugar and show, and then they drop out, and his ability to be able to decipher when and how they drop out and what kind of coverage they're actually getting to is going to be, make a big difference, not only for him, but for the protection. Because, sometimes the protection is set to block a certain way, and all of a sudden, you got two guys blocking one over here and another guy running over here to scot-free. I know that, the chess match that goes on between the two high safety look and the single high safety look, it's a major, major chess match with a lot of, offensive and defensive coordinators and how you're able. And I'm flabbergasted to hear you talk about going max protection. That's something we don't hear a lot of anymore in the National Football League. You got two guys on the outside, and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, that can win all day, every day. Even if you're single high, Jaws. Okay, if I drop back and I look Devontae's way, now I'm going to move the safety over. I can get any route on the other side, whether it's a slant and go, a stop route at 10 yards. I can get anything I want on the other side, and I got my best yak guy one-on-one in open space against a cornerback out there. Why don't teams do more of that?
I wish I could answer that. I don't know, but I agree with you. And why not go 12 personnel? We've got two outstanding tight ends and block them up. Put two tight ends on, say, the left side, block them up, keep the back in the backfield, block them up, put Devontae and H on one side. And then, okay, go ahead. I'm going to challenge now. But who you going to blitz with these two guys? And you got two tight ends here where you just take away all blitz pressure by doing that. So you can dictate to the defense what they have to do because of speed and quickness you have on the outside. And then you block 8 guys, and you're going to give those guys 3 seconds to run a route. You'll see a lot of these, if you want to bring the heavy blitz pressure when you go maximum protection. I don't think the Eagles use enough maximum protection. I would take more shot plays. I don't think the Rams will be overly aggressive. To me, they're going to be scared to death of Devontae and AJ on the outside. In the first matchup, they got behind in the game, so they had to start blitzing a little bit more. It kind of pushed that percentage up. But I think Chris Shula will try to stay away from a heavy dose of blitz. And you always have to mix the blitz in. And by the way, how cool is that? Chris Shula is the grandson of Don Shula. That's you see a lineage there, right?
Yeah. Sure. Let's jump over on the defensive side of the ball before we wrap up, Jaws, because I definitely want to talk about the job that Vic Fangio has done. I'm of the belief that it's not only him, but it's also, the staff that he's brought in that's taken this defense to a different stratosphere, from the linebackers coach to, the secondary coach, to Clint Hurt, and what he's done, with the guys in the front. It's hard to develop young talent, but I know from personal experience, it's a lot easier when you have coaches that know what the hell they're doing, and they know how to get a player that wants to get better, that's willing to put in the work to get better, to help them go from here to here, in such a quick manner. I mean, this football team was one of the worst defenses in the National Football League last year.
31st.
And all of a sudden, we're into the divisional round, and this team is the number 1 ranked defense in the National Football League in total offense and number 1 against the pass. That is insane to me.
Well, can you say Cooper DeJean? Can you say Quinion Mitchell? Can you say Zach Braun? 3 guys that weren't on that defense last year. Give some credit to Howie Roseman. I don't know where he found Zach Braun, but him and Vic found a way to get that guy to play. I don't know what the New Orleans Saints were thinking. You got this guy on your roster for 4 years. You got to have some worse of the talent evaluators of the National Football League not to see the ability that guy has. But coaching is so important, and you said it. Each position has a coach. Defensive line has a coach. You mentioned Hurts. Linebackers have a coach. Secondary has a coach. Some teams have a safeties coach and a cornerback coach. They have so many coaches, and the staff seems to work so well together. It was probably one of the great. Vic's been around 40 years. Vic Fangio knows football like you and I. We think we know it. He knows it 100 times better than us. The guy's a wonk with the clicker. He'll sit there watch TV till you got to. Probably his wife doesn't throws a blanket on and says go to bed. That's how much he cares about getting his team in a position to make plays. And it's not a complex, sophisticated defense until you look at him on tape. When I watch a game, I don't see much different. I'll see shades from a corner, shades from a linebacker, maybe an offset by a tackler, but then you look at the tape and you see the adjustments they make after the ball is snapped. They take away passing lanes. Those things that are the trained eye, you have to see it. I can't watch a game and see it until I look at it, run that play back 10 times on my clicker over here, and I'll say, oh, that's what Vic was doing. Oh, that's why DeGene was over there. Oh, that's why he was over there. It's always the little things that really, and I play the game as a quarterback, so I watch the game as a quarterback. Say, damn, that's not now I know what he was doing. Now I know why he did that. So I think the nuances of Vic's defense is what makes it so special. They're really, just not visible to the naked eye.
Well, listen, Jaws, two things. He is a godsend because I think a lot of people were worried by all the chatter that was coming out of Miami.
You heard that crap from all those losers down in Miami. You know that.
And I said right out the gate because, I came into the league and was coached by, a hard-nosed coach. He didn't take no crap. He was going to do it his way. He was going to bring a lunch pail and a sandwich every single day, to work. And when I heard what the conversation was, they don't like Vic, they think he's too hard. I'm like, see, they want the easy way. Vic walked into a great situation getting a bunch of young, hungry guys, okay, that would take his 40 years of knowledge and implement it and not ask questions. See, a lot of times, we want veteran players, but sometimes, Jaws, vets can be some of the worst players that you can have on your team because they think that they've been around long enough to know everything that you know. And they get into this rut where they want to do things their way instead of the way that's what's best for the team. So when I heard all that nonsense in Miami, I'm like, no wonder those guys suck because they didn't want to listen to a guy that had 40 years of experience. I've been down that road before. I was here with Buddy. Buddy leaves. Bud Carson comes in. We don't even know who the hell Bud Carson is, and then I look him up, Jaws. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. This is the guy that orchestrated the steel curtain. I'm like, we got something here, And he began to teach us, all the nuances of the game. And once we got over, I don't think we ever really got over, but once we got past the firing of Buddy, then we began to trust Bud, and it took our entire defense to a whole new level. And this is what I'm seeing with these young guys. And when I see defensively, the one thing that they do so much better than they did, and they do a lot than what they did last year, is their pre-snap disguise. You think they're in one thing, by the time the ball is snapped, they're in something else. And the players understand it. They know what they're doing. There doesn't seem to be any ambiguity, especially when the players that need to be on the field are on the field. I think C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Reed Blankenship are such a great tandem because C.J. is always talking. He's always talking.
Yep.
But when you got a guy that's always talking,
Energizer Bunny out there, absolutely right, Seth.
But Jaws, when you get a guy like that knows what the hell's going on, he's communicating. Yep. The biggest thing about defense is communication. I don't want to ever be on a team, and I don't ever want to be playing with a bunch of guys who got saltines in their mouth during the game. Open your mouth and talk to me. Tell me, what we're doing. What's the check? What's the alert? If that guy comes inside and that guy goes outside, how are we going to adjust to it? Are we banjoing it or are we locking it? Talk to me,
Yep.
And this is the difference. He's taught this young team this, and he's got a couple of veterans on the defense that understands that. And I think in a lot of ways, that's what makes this defense so dynamic because other than that, there's no logical reason.
Communication. And you started to show up by talking about Kobe Dean, and hey, he's going to be missed. I mean, he was playing really good football. And as a linebacker, the importance of communication. And him and Zach Vaughn were very good at that unspoken, nonverbal communication where you just look and you got him, you got underneath, you're over the top. That was starting to come. That's why the linebackers been playing so good the last couple games. And to lose it, and Kobe's going to be it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. Now, Vaughn is, to me, if I would have had a vote, Zach Vaughn would be the defensive MVP of the league right now. That's how good I think he's played. Now, look at a lot of tape, a lot of good football, but what he's meant to this defense out of nowhere and what he has done, And I did that. So we're going to miss Kobe, but Zach's playing at just a really high level right now as well.
All right, Jaws. I had your former coach on my TV show taping it earlier today, and I didn't want to ask him, but I'm gonna have to ask you. Give me your thoughts about the outcome of this game, and give me a prediction.
It's going to be a tough game. The Rams are a much better team than we saw on November 12th, but I think the overall uniqueness of this Eagle team is there isn't a real weakness. We may have to go down to Jake Elliott to find a weakness. Maybe the only guy not playing at Pro Bowl type level. So when we get down to the place kickers, maybe that may be your only concern of the game. You got to love the Eagles. You just have to love the Eagles. So I got this one 24-20 Birds.
I got him at. I think I got him at 35-17, man.
Woo! Oh, whoa! I hope you're right. I don't want to be sitting on the edge of my chair the whole damn game.
And it's tiring. Jaws, listen, man, I'm gonna let you run. It's been great.
Let's do it again. I love talking ball with you, Seth. Thank you, man.
Let's do it, my friend. I appreciate it.
We got to talk to the golf course pretty soon too. Pretty time.
For sure.
It's almost golf season.
You got it. Tell Liz we said hello, man.
All right, man. Love you guys.
All right. Take care. Love you too, man. All right, y'all. That's the show for tonight. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Rooting for our Birds. Yeah, I got them winning 35-17. That's what kind of confidence I have in them. Just like Jaws said, they got no weaknesses. I don't fear anybody that they're going to have to play, even if they got to go to Detroit next week. I'm still going to be picking them to win because I think they have the ability as a total team, as a whole unit, to get to the Super Bowl this year and be a major contender for it. All right, so I'm going to wrap right there. I'll see you guys right back here, same place, same time next week. As always, take care of each other and be good to each other. Make sure you love each other. I'll see you next week. Peace, Philly.
Most people don't know how to get the care they need. The experts at Stay at Home Care can help. Before choosing a caregiver or family member for your care, you need to apply for the Home Care Program. The application process can be complicated. Stay at Home Care can help you navigate through every step. Once approved, your caregiver or family member will receive guaranteed weekly pay, a variety of medical benefits options, paid holidays, paid vacation, and overtime pay. Call Stay at Home Care, here to help every step of the way.
Get peace of mind, drive certified at DavisCertified.com.
How do you make sure your next vehicle purchase is a quality vehicle priced right? Go to DavisCertified.com.
Every Davis certified pre-owned vehicle has a 60-day, 2,000-mile powertrain warranty, plus 2 years of free oil changes, a 3-day exchange policy, and a free Carfax report.
Get peace of mind, drive certified at DavisCertified.com.
Gentlemen, are you ready for a wardrobe update? Introducing Divine Nine's Custom Menswear, your clothier for truly unique, custom-made threads. With Divine Nine, you can design your own one-of-a-kind suit, jacket, slacks, shirts, golf pants, and shorts, perfectly handcrafted by our skilled artisans who will bring your vision to life. Prepare to stand out from the crowd with Divine Nine's Custom Clothier, official clothier of Seth Joyner. Custom clothing made for you.
Pride, passion, and persistence. These are the values that drive us all at Ron Jaworski Golf. We strive to deliver outstanding conditions as well as playability for golfers of all ages and abilities. Our championship golf courses offer a variety of challenges from a link-style walk along the river to an escape into the pines and everything in between. My team at Ron Jaworski Golf is committed to delivering memorable experiences every single day. See all we do at ronjaworskigolf.com.
This is Parks. This is how you roll. This is how it goes. This is how you pop. This is how you rock. Take a chance, do a dance, little romance. This is how you. This is how you excite. This is how you all night. 360 hit me. Now we're going all in. I can feel it calling. The crowd, the light, the night, the sights, the vibe is right. This is how you. This is
Parks, Pennsylvania's #1 casino experience. This is how you win.